Netflix originals are now barred from competition at Cannes, the Cannes Film Festival,
S-
which is kind of the big one.
Yeah, it seems such a backward decision. From my my gut instinct is like I get that you want to have that prestige there. You don't want it just thrown up on some kind of streaming service because, you know, I guess the way they're rationalizing it is that it's a slippery slope. Then what do things on YouTube become part of Cannes Film Festival?
Mm,
Does the quality go down?
mm.
It's a valid question in a lot of ways, but I think it's very backward because I'm really enjoying the Netflix platform. I love that I was able to watch Annihilation 2 times within
Yeah,
like a couple days.
yeah. And
Um,
and honestly, barring them from Cannes seems like, why even bother? Like, what are they going to show? Bright
yeah,
or
yeah,
the Cloverfield paradox?
yeah. I mean,
Like
there's no
when
impact.
and if and when they make a movie good enough, which they have a couple of times, celebrate it.
Yeah,
It's great. Like they're not taken over or anything. Most of
yeah,
their stuff is still pretty bad. We've
yeah.
got a quote from the Cannes artistic director here. The Netflix people love the red carpet and would like to be present with other films, but they understand that the intransigence of their own model is now the opposite of ours. So I don't know. I think this is just kind of sour grapes. We've been hearing this kind of sentiment from Hollywood for the past few years about
Yeah,
streaming services and movies moving out of theaters, which is understandable because it's a sad change, but it's one that is not stopping. And I mean, Spielberg just came out saying he also doesn't think Netflix movies should be eligible for Oscars. They're just Emmys. Um, yeah, and he came out with this whole quote
just
about
Emmys. I
yeah, he
love
just came
that.
out with this whole quote about, when you're making something for TV, it's not really a movie anymore. It's a TV thing. And I don't know about that. I mean, this just seems kind of backwards thinking coming from Spielberg. I mean, when
Yeah,
you're making a movie, you're making a movie. You pour your heart and soul into it. It doesn't matter necessarily how people see it.
I agree.
Um,
And a movie is not it's a format.
mm,
It's a 90 minutes, 2 hour long format.
mm,
And usually self-contained in of itself. As TV series is 45 minutes to an hour, spanning X many episodes. Like, I just can't see the argument there. And it's a shame that somebody like Spielberg, with this kind of
clout.
influence that
Yeah.
he has, saying stuff like that.
Mm,
Because I think something like Annihilation should be in the mix.
mm,
I know it was released in the States, yeah, but like a theatrical release in the States, and it was Netflix everywhere else. But
mm.
still, like there's a bit of bad vibes on it because of that.
Yeah. And if Ready Player One is better than Annihilation, I will eat anyone's hat.
Yeah,
Because
send in your hats, people.
yeah. Yeah, it's a shame coming from Spielberg because he's been on the wrong side of film history before, but he's come around on things like making changes to old movies. E.T. He did a lot of changes to, added a lot of CGI and stuff, and he's since come out and said, "Yeah, I feel like I ruined my movie." And just he released the original version again.
Yeah,
He's kind of subtly, or not so subtly, talked about the Star Wars prequels, or sorry,
yeah,
the originals, and been like, "Yeah, that's George can do whatever he wants to do, but
the special editions.
don't do it."
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I just hope that I think we're moving into the stage where in this year we've had a number of Netflix films that we've reviewed for the podcast or at least discussed
Mm,
that 12 months ago we weren't. So,
mm,
where's this going to be in 2, 3 years' time?
totally. I mean,
I just
if we're already getting stuff like Okja and whatever,
exactly.
then
We're getting Scorsese's The Irishman.
yeah,
That's a big player.
yeah, yeah.
So I just think it just doesn't sit well with me, and I
It's
hope
just
they
very
change their tune.
arbitrary.
Yeah, it seems like very much like the music industry when Napster came out. It seems
Mm.
like they're kind of like we're
They
sticking to our model,
fought
and we're
so
not going
hard
to.
against it,
Yeah,
and it fucked them for
yeah,
so long until they embraced it and
exactly.
moved with the tide.
Only now are record labels starting to readjust with
Mm,
streaming services like
mm,
finally hitting the mass market. But I
mm.
mean, what's that? 18 years since Napster came out.
Yeah.
I anticipate the same thing is going to happen with the cinema industry. Like kind of like you know, relentless holding on to
Mm,
days of old business models, old
yeah.
tried and tested.
2035, it'll just be MCU movies coming out.
Yeah,
Like, seriously.
I'm happy.
Um, yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway, we don't really need to stick up for Netflix. This shit's happening whether we like it or not.
yeah, exactly.